The night of October 30th, 2024 looms over the horizon, thick with mystery and speculation, casting an eerie shadow across the world of astrology. Whispers in the wind have reached far and wide, as an astrologer, known for their accuracy and insight, finds themselves utterly stunned by what they have uncovered. The stars, usually silent in their patterns and placements, now seem to be screaming a cryptic warning. Something colossal is about to happen. And this time, the celestial map offers little comfort, only a growing sense of unease. The astrologer who has studied the skies for decades, poring over ancient texts and deciphering planetary alignments with precision, has never encountered anything like this before. There's a convergence in the heavens that defies logic, a rare alignment that suggests a significant shift in the cosmic balance. This isn't a routine transit or an expected celestial event. It's something far more profound. What has caught the astrologer off guard is not just the sheer rarity of this alignment, but the intense energy that it carries. The last day of October is traditionally steeped in folklore, celebrated for the thinning of the veil between worlds in many cultures. But this year, the astrologer senses an overwhelming force at play. They speak of a celestial event that will occur in the dark hours of October 30th, bleeding into the early hours of Halloween, a night already charged with supernatural connotations. Yet this isn't about ghouls or ghosts. It's as if the universe itself is preparing for a reckoning, a moment when the veil between the known and the unknown is not just thin, but utterly torn apart. The stars, usually guides to those who seek answers, seem to offer no solace, only a warning. Their message, scattered across the heavens, is a caution of upheaval, of changes so vast that the very fabric of existence could feel the ripple. The astrologer's voice, usually steady and assured, trembles as they relay their findings. "I've never seen anything like this," they confess. "The energy, it's overwhelming, like the universe is holding its breath, waiting for something to break." As they describe the planetary positions, it becomes clear that this alignment has not occurred in recorded history. Ancient texts from various cultures, Sumerian, Mayan, Vedic, speak of such moments, but always in cryptic terms. They describe it as a time when the cosmic order is disrupted, when the laws that govern both the physical and metaphysical realms could be bent or even broken. But what exactly will happen? The astrologer can only guess, though their instincts scream of something monumental and possibly catastrophic. The astrologer warns that this night is not one to take lightly. There are forces at play that even they cannot fully comprehend. Forces that transcend astrology as it is known today. They speak of a potential disruption in the flow of energy across the earth, affecting everything from personal relationships to global events. They suggest that this could mark a turning point, where the energies released could bring about dramatic shifts in power, balance, and even reality itself. It's not just a night of eerie happenings or spooky tales. The astrologer urges people to prepare spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. They advise individuals to stay grounded, to meditate, to shield themselves from any negative energies that may be swirling in the ether. There's a real sense of urgency in their warning. The night of October 30th, 2024, is a night where the unexpected will reign, and those who are unprepared may find themselves swept away by the tides of cosmic change. The astrologer's words hang heavy, not merely as a prediction, but as a plea. They have seen something that even their years of study and wisdom cannot fully explain, and yet they know that this event will leave its mark on humanity, perhaps in ways that won't be fully understood until it's too late. As the astrologer continues, their eyes glaze over with a distant look, as if they are peering into a realm beyond our comprehension. "The signs," they mutter softly, "they're not just planetary, they're elemental." They go on to describe how the energies of the earth, air, fire, and water are all reacting strangely in the days leading up to October 30th. Volcanic activity, sudden shifts in weather patterns, and unusual tidal behavior. These are not mere coincidences, they insist. Nature itself seems to be bracing for something, a response to the cosmic forces that are set to collide. The earth trembles beneath our feet, not in fear, but in anticipation. The winds, they howl in ways I haven't heard before. There's something primal in them, the astrologer says, their voice rising with the weight of their revelation. Everything is tied to this alignment. The animals, the oceans, the very air we breathe. It's as if the world is preparing for a moment of reckoning. They pause as if considering whether to say what comes next, but then push forward, their expression grim. And it's not just the natural world that's being affected. People, sensitive people, have started reporting strange dreams, visions of a night shrouded in darkness, of events that feel real yet remain inexplicable upon waking. These are not just figments of imagination. I believe they are premonitions, subconscious warnings from the universe itself. The astrologer has begun to connect the dots. They talk about how, throughout history, certain cosmic alignments have been linked to dramatic shifts in consciousness, societal upheavals, and even the rise and fall of civilizations. The stars are not just distant burning suns. They are symbols. They are messengers, they say with conviction. And right now their message is clear. We are standing at the precipice of a great change, and not all of us will be ready for it. The astrologer warns of heightened emotions during this period, unprecedented tension and conflict on both personal and global levels. Relationships may fray under the weight of this energy, as unresolved emotions come to the surface in unpredictable ways. People might feel as though they are being pulled in opposite directions, torn between what they know to be true and what they fear might happen, they explain. The alignment creates a polarity, a division not just within society, but within the self. They take a deep breath, and then, in a somber tone, they reveal what has shaken them the most. There's an ancient prophecy, something that has been passed down in fragments across different cultures, warning of a night where time itself might falter, where reality could bend. They called it the night of the unraveling, and I believe this is it. At this, the room falls into an uneasy silence. The astrologer has invoked something ancient, something that feels like it has been waiting in the shadows of human history, biding its time. The night of the unraveling. Those words carry the weight of 1,000 forgotten myths, legends whispered in fear and awe. The idea that time, the very constant that governs existence, could be undone or altered is not just unsettling, it is terrifying. What could such an event mean for the world? Would people wake up the next day and find everything changed? Would they even wake up at all? The astrologer shakes their head as if to clear away the images their mind has conjured. We don't know what will happen. That's the hardest part of this, they confess. We can prepare, we can meditate, we can try to stay grounded, but we are all heading into the unknown. And the unknown is a place of both danger and opportunity. They urge anyone listening to pay attention to the signs around them in the days leading up to October 30th. Look for the subtle shifts, the things that feel out of place. Pay attention to your dreams, to the energy in the air. This is a time when intuition might be our best guide. They emphasize the importance of gathering with loved ones, staying close to people who offer support and protection. Community will be our shield in the coming days. Together, we can face whatever this night brings. Despite all the warnings, all the fear and uncertainty, the astrologer closes with a strange sense of hope. Change, even when it's frightening, is also an opportunity for growth. This night, this event, it could be the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. We may come out the other side with new insights, a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe. They pause as if sensing that their time is almost up, that the weight of their message has taken its toll. Whatever happens, remember this. The universe is vast, and its mysteries are infinite. We are small in the grand scheme of things, but we are also part of something much greater. What comes on the night of October 30th, 2024, will be beyond our control. But how we respond to it, that will define who we are and who we might become. As the astrologer's words fade, the air seems charged with tension, thick with the weight of the unknown. The world, for all its advancements and understanding, is still bound by the mysteries of the cosmos. And this night that is coming, feels like a reminder of how small and fragile we truly are. For days, whispers of the astrologer's warning spread like wildfire. News outlets, forums, and social media platforms are flooded with theories, speculations, and anxious conversations about what October 30th, 2024 will bring. Some dismiss it as nothing more than superstition, the rantings of an eccentric who has spent too much time staring at the stars. Others, however, feel an undeniable sense of dread creeping into their hearts. Even those who scoff at astrology can't shake the feeling that something is off. There's a strange stillness in the air, a quiet that feels unnatural, as though the world itself is holding its breath, waiting for something to unfold. The astrologer, meanwhile, retreats from the public eye. In the final days leading up to the night, they seek solace in meditation and contemplation, trying to piece together the final fragments of the celestial puzzle. But the more they look, the more elusive the truth becomes. They begin to have vivid dreams, visions of shadowy figures moving through worlds not governed by the same rules as ours, of time stretching and bending, of places where reality itself is fluid, constantly shifting like a mirage. Each morning they wake with a sense of urgency, but no clearer answers. On the eve of October 30th, as dusk begins to settle over the world, an eerie calm takes hold. People go about their routines, but there's an undercurrent of tension that permeates everything. Children playing in the streets seem quieter than usual. The birds, often chirping noisily at sunset, seem to be absent. The wind is still, unnaturally so, and as night falls, something subtle, something almost imperceptible, begins to change. It starts with the sky. The stars, usually a blanket of twinkling light across the heavens, seem to shift. Those who are paying close attention notice that the constellations, so familiar, are not quite where they should be. It's as though the stars themselves are sliding ever so slightly out of alignment, rearranging themselves into a pattern that no one has seen before. People begin to feel a strange sensation, a tingling at the back of their necks, as if they are being watched, but not by any human eyes. It's the universe, the cosmos, that seems to be staring back. A ripple passes through the sky, like a wave of distortion. It's as though the fabric of space itself is stretching, warping, bending in ways that defy explanation. The moon, usually a steady and comforting presence, flickers as if caught between two dimensions. Its light grows dimmer, flickering like a dying candle. In its place, the darkness begins to swell, creeping across the horizon in waves, deeper and blacker than any night before. It's not just the absence of light, it's as if something is consuming the very essence of the sky itself. Across the world, people stop in their tracks, staring up at the sky in disbelief. Phones and cameras are raised, but the screens show nothing, just blackness, as though the devices can't capture what the human eye is witnessing. Panic begins to ripple through the streets. Animals, usually so attuned to the rhythms of nature, begin to act erratically. Dogs bark incessantly at nothing, their fur bristling in fear. Cats hiss and retreat into the shadows. Even the birds, which had been silent, now take flight in chaotic patterns, darting frantically through the darkened sky. In the midst of this, the astrologer sits in quiet solitude, their heart pounding in their chest. They had known something was coming, but even they hadn't fully understood the scale of it. The veil, they whisper to themselves, it's tearing. Suddenly, the air itself seems to crackle with energy, a low hum reverberating through the atmosphere. People begin to feel an odd sensation, as if gravity itself is loosening its grip, like they are floating ever so slightly above the ground. Some stumble, others fall, and in the confusion, a strange glow appears on the horizon. It's not light in the traditional sense. It's more like a shimmering, a rippling curtain of energy that pulses and breathes. And beyond that curtain, there is something. Shapes move in the distance, figures that are human but not. They flicker in and out of sight, as if phasing between worlds, caught between dimensions. All over the world, people begin to experience bizarre phenomena. Clocks stop, freeze, and then start running backward. In some places, it feels as though entire minutes, perhaps even hours, are skipping, leaping ahead without warning, leaving gaps in memory. People feel like they are seeing things that shouldn't exist, shadows in mirrors that don't belong to them, reflections that move of their own accord. Time itself is no longer stable. Reality is slipping. For some, the experience is terrifying. For others, it's euphoric, as if they are finally seeing the truth of the universe, a truth that has been hidden for millennia. There are reports of strange lights in the sky, of voices that seem to echo from other times, other places. It's as if the universe has been cracked open, and everything that lies beyond the veil is spilling out into the world. As the hours tick on, the strange phenomena continue. The world is gripped by an otherworldly force, and yet just as suddenly as it began, the distortion starts to fade. The sky, once dark and warped, begins to return to normal. The moon, flickering in and out of sight, solidifies once more, shining faintly in the distance. The ripples in time and space grow less intense, and reality, piece by piece, starts to stitch itself back together. But something has changed. The world, though it appears the same, feels different, as though a door has been opened, one that cannot be closed again. As dawn approaches on October 31st, the world is left to ponder what has just occurred. Scientists scramble to make sense of the data. Governments issue statements urging calm. But the people, those who experience the night of the unraveling firsthand, know that the world will never be the same. Something has shifted, something profound, and the consequences of this night will echo through the ages. As the first light of dawn begins to creep across the horizon on October 31st, 2024, a strange, quiet stillness settles over the world. People emerge from their homes, bleary-eyed and confused, trying to make sense of what happened during the long, unsettling night. The sky, once twisted and torn, now appears calm, as if the nightmarish distortions were nothing more than a collective dream. Yet the unease lingers, a heavy presence in the air, reminding everyone that what they witnessed was far from a dream. The astrologer, exhausted but alert, walks through the streets of their city, observing the aftermath. Everywhere, there is a sense of disbelief, as if the world is waking up from a fevered vision that still lingers in the corners of their minds. Conversations ripple through the crowds, stories of clocks that skipped hours, of visions seen in mirrors, of loved ones speaking words that seem to come from another time, another life. Yet despite the widespread accounts, no one can offer a solid explanation. The scientists, the governments, the experts, they all scramble to provide answers. But the data they collect is fragmented, inconclusive. The phenomena defied the very laws of physics, and no one seems willing to admit just how little they understand. But the people, those who experience the night firsthand, know the truth. They know that something profound has changed, that the veil between worlds was not just thinned, but torn open, if only for a few fleeting hours. And though everything seems to have returned to normal, they can feel the subtle difference in the air, in themselves. It's as if they are now connected to something larger, something that was always there, but had been hidden from view. The astrologer knows this feeling well. They too can sense the shift, the quiet hum of energy that still lingers from the night before. The stars, though seemingly back in place, carry a different resonance now. It's as if they are whispering a new language, one that the astrologer cannot yet decipher, but knows is significant. They had long suspected that the night of the unraveling would not be an isolated event, but the beginning of something much larger, a cosmic shift that would unfold over time. As they walk through the city, they overhear fragments of conversations. Some people are frightened, terrified by what they experienced, and desperate for the world to return to its familiar patterns. Others, however, speak of their experiences with awe, as if they glimpsed something sacred, something that awakened a deeper understanding of themselves and the universe. "I saw my grandmother," one woman whispers to her friend. "She passed away years ago, but last night I swear she was there, standing in my kitchen, telling me not to be afraid." A man nearby nods in agreement. "I felt it too, like the past and the present were overlapping, like I could see all the choices I've made, all the lives I could have lived." The astrologer listens silently, absorbing the stories. These accounts, though varied, all point to the same truth. Time itself had become fluid, reality had bent, and in those moments of distortion, people had seen beyond the veil, glimpsing the other side of existence. Whether they saw the past, the future, or parallel versions of themselves, the experience was transformative. But as much as the astrologer is fascinated by these stories, they are also wary. They know that the cosmic forces unleashed last night were not entirely benevolent. The tearing of the veil was not just an opening for insight and growth, it was also a door through which darker energies could enter. As the day progresses, strange reports continue to emerge. In certain parts of the world, people have disappeared, vanished without a trace. Some believe they were caught in the temporal distortions and lost in time, while others fear they may have crossed into another realm entirely, unable to find their way back. There are also accounts of people who have returned, but they are not quite the same. Some seem disoriented, speaking in unfamiliar languages, or displaying knowledge and skills they never possessed before. A few appear to have aged overnight, their hair streaked with gray, their eyes filled with the weight of years they never lived. It's as if they have been to places beyond the comprehension of this world, and their return has left them forever changed. In the face of these strange occurrences, the astrologer realizes that the night's events were only the beginning. The ripples of the unraveling will continue to spread, affecting not just individuals, but entire societies. The world is now standing at a crossroads, caught between the familiar and the unknown, and how humanity responds will determine the course of the future. The astrologer, though filled with uncertainty, knows they must play their part in guiding people through this transition. As evening falls again, the astrologer retreats to a secluded spot, far from the noise and confusion of the city. They sit under the open sky, watching the stars, which now seem to shimmer with a new intensity. There is something alive in them, something watching, waiting. The astrologer closes their eyes and reaches out with their mind, trying to attune themselves to the new frequencies of the universe. In the stillness, they feel the presence of something vast and ancient, something that has been awakened by the night before. The astrologer's eyes snap open. They know now, beyond a doubt, that the night of the unraveling was a precursor, a warning of larger forces at play. The universe is shifting, and humanity stands at the brink of a new reality. The astrologer rises, filled with a sense of purpose and resolve. The world will need guidance in the days to come, guidance to navigate the unseen forces that have begun to stir, guidance to face the challenges that will arise as the boundaries between worlds continue to blur. As the astrologer sets out on their journey, a sense of foreboding weighs heavily on their heart. The world around them, though outwardly unchanged, feels like a fragile illusion, as if the fabric of reality could tear again at any moment. They walk through the streets with purpose, their mind racing with thoughts of what is to come. The night of the unraveling may have passed, but its effects are only beginning to reveal themselves. Every step they take seems to reverberate with the echoes of that strange night. In the days that follow, more and more people report unsettling experiences. Time continues to behave unpredictably in certain areas, with entire neighborhoods experiencing hours that stretch or shrink. Strange phenomena occur at the edges of perception, shadows that move on their own, voices whispering in languages no one recognizes, and flickers of light that appear out of nowhere, like tears in the sky. The astrologer knows these are signs of the lingering instability in the cosmic fabric, a residual effect of the alignment that tore the veil between dimensions. Governments and scientists scramble to understand these phenomena, but they are at a loss. Conventional explanations fail, and the laws of physics seem unable to account for what is happening. Panic begins to spread in some parts of the world, with people fleeing areas where the disturbances are most severe. The media, now saturated with reports of strange occurrences, fluctuates between skepticism and fear-mongering. Some claim that the night was a hoax, a mass hallucination, while others believe it to be the beginning of the end times, a prophecy come true. Amid this chaos, the astrologer's role becomes more important than ever. They are not the only one who felt the shift. Other spiritual guides, mystics, and seers around the world also sense the magnitude of the event. Many of them begin to organize, coming together in small circles of knowledge, trying to piece together the meaning of what is happening. They communicate in secret, aware that the world may not be ready for the full truth. The astrologer receives messages from these groups, inviting them to join in the shared effort to understand the new reality. They accept, knowing that their insights, however fragmented, are crucial to what lies ahead. As they travel, they find themselves drawn to a remote place, an ancient site of power where the lines between worlds are thin. It is here, they believe, that they will find the answers they seek. The journey to this sacred place is arduous. Along the way, the astrologer encounters people who have been deeply affected by the night. Some are lost, their minds unraveling from the shock of what they've seen. Others, however, have embraced the changes, adapting to the new reality with a strange sense of calm. These individuals speak of visions, of hearing the hum of the universe, of being able to perceive things that others cannot. They seem to be attuned to the shifts in time and space, moving with an eerie grace as if they have already begun to live in the new world. One such person, an elderly woman with eyes that seem to shimmer with starlight, approaches the astrologer one night by the campfire. "You seek answers," she says softly, her voice carrying the weight of wisdom beyond her years. "But the answers you seek are not in the stars. They are in the space between them, in the void that you felt on the night the veil was torn. The stars have always been guides," the woman continues, "but they are also distractions. They show us what is already written, what is bound by fate. But the unraveling, it was not about fate, it was about freedom. The veil that tore was not just a cosmic event. It was an invitation to step beyond what has been foretold, to step into the unknown and create something new." She nods. The alignment, the tear in the veil. It wasn't just about shifting realities. It was about offering humanity a choice. We can either cling to the old ways, to the paths that have been laid out for us by the cosmos, or we can choose to walk into the unknown and forge a new destiny. But that choice comes with great responsibility. If we are not careful, the darkness that lurked on the other side of the veil could consume us. The astrologer feels a chill run down their spine. The woman's words ring true, and they realize that the night of the unraveling was not just a disruption, it was a test. Humanity had been given a glimpse of the vast, chaotic potential of the universe, and now they stood at a crossroads. What they did next would determine the fate of not only their world, but countless others that lay just beyond the edges of perception. The astrologer thanks the woman, her words resonating deeply. As they continue on their journey, they think about what it means to step beyond fate, to embrace the freedom that the unraveling has offered. It is both exhilarating and terrifying. The power to shape the future is in their hands, but so too is the potential for great destruction. After many days of travel, the astrologer arrives at the ancient site. It is a place of deep power, where the air hums with the energy of the earth itself. Standing stones rise from the ground like silent sentinels, marking a place where the veil between worlds has always been thin. It is here, the astrologer believes, that they will find the final piece of the puzzle. They sit in the center of the stone circle, closing their eyes and reaching out with their mind, attuning themselves to the energies of the place. As they meditate, they feel the familiar presence of the stars above them, but now they understand them differently. The stars are not masters. They are guides, showing possibilities but not dictating the path. And then, in the stillness, the astrologer feels it. A shift, a ripple in the fabric of reality. It is subtle, but unmistakable. The veil, though repaired, is still fragile, still thin in places. The unraveling was not a singular event. It is part of an ongoing process, a gradual tearing away of the boundaries between worlds. In this moment, the astrologer understands their role. They are not here to stop the changes that are coming. They are here to guide humanity through them, to help people navigate the new reality that is emerging. The future is no longer set in stone, and that is both a gift and a curse. As the astrologer rises from their meditation, they look up at the sky, where the stars shimmer with a strange new light. The path ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear. The world has entered a new era, and nothing will ever be the same again. With a deep breath, the astrologer begins their journey back to the world, knowing that they will not return as the same person who left. They are no longer just an interpreter of the stars. They are a guide to the future, a future that has yet to be written. Whatever happened that night wasn't just a one-time event. It was a warning, a glimpse into something far greater than we can understand. The veil between worlds has been torn, and we are now living in the aftermath of that cosmic shift. Stay tuned, because the story of October 30th is far from over. The real question is, are we ready for what comes next?